And we're live. Hello, everyone. This is Ninja DC. Joining you again for another React video. This time for MLP Season 8, Episode 5. Or is it Season 3? Anyway, joining me again is... Heard of Bronies?
Hello, all you ponies. I'm a herd of bronies. Welcome back to Let's Watch Season 8. This time we've got a Rainbow Dash episode with a particularly distasteful name.
Carlos?
Oh, I didn't expect to hear from you. Hello there. I am your gracious host for all things reaction here on 8-Bit. My name is Gladius here, and we're going to be looking at a certain documentary on what the equestrians would call the natural migration patterns of the elderly, essentially transgressioning through a different situation than usual, seeing what their natural behaviors and such are precariously in an alternative stimuli and such. But hopefully we'll be able to catch all the epic fails and such, in which we'll be seeing a lot of crazy shenanigans, hopefully. Or if not, we'll have a nice little educational documentary for us to recall for memories and legends to come.
All right, calling it up. Jenn?
Thanks for that lovely explanation, Gladius. In other words, what he means to say is, this is Grannies Gone Wild on 8-Bit Reactions.
Hi, I'm Jenn, and if this is a Granny Smith episode, bring it on.
All right. And second? Second.
Hello.
Oh, wait. I think he has his hearing aid off. Let me just go and nudge
He's
him.
got his mic muted. Maybe he's away.
Oh. I was wondering if it was those moments where we all have to yell out second, and we're out second, and he's asleep again.
Well, meanwhile, while we're waiting for our last co-host to come in here.
Oh, wait a minute. One of us should do an impression. We can't just look into dead air like that.
This is the second opinion. Here to see my favorite pony's first debut for the season. Let's see what she's going to be doing right now. I bet it's going to be really cool. While everyone else is going to be so slow being able to not catch up to her. Because she is the best pony. And that is because I am the second opinion.
You forgot the catchphrase.
This is from a fan first. This is from a critic first and a fan second. This is the second opinion.
That'll work. Cut and print.
Cut and print. All right. Let's move on to shenanigans.
Yeah.
Very good.
Let me try messaging him through Facebook. There we are.
I'm not even going to touch this Flash install thing until this thing is over. So while we wait for a second, how's season 8 shaping up for everybody here?
Not swimmingly.
Not swimmingly?
Yeah, let's just say if it wasn't for Cadet last episode, I could have probably been extremely negative.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Let's just say last episode was very confusing about what angle it was going for until Cadet was able to eloquently educate me on what sort of lesson was supposed to be learned from said episode. Even though I didn't really have any issues with Fluttershy being a jerk in said episode, because in these cases, Fluttershy is shown to be a much more entertainable jerk, such really great character, really highlighting like how she's one of the only main six to really be such a spotlight in the later seasons, while the show erodes to its end. In the meanwhile, though, I still have the most hateable loathing, like a hate boner over the third episode involving around
Mudbriar.
Not Mudbriar. Just Scott. Not Scott Sonneborn. What was the writer's name? I'm forgetting it for some reason.
Nick Confalone?
Nick Confalone.
Oh.
Finally pegging down his writing style and how he needs to make one of the main six into a jerk, and I think he's effectively made Pinkie Pie more of a jerk than Twilight and No Second Francis, which I never thought would be possible. Now I loathe that episode with my every being. It even has a lower rating than No Second Francis, an episode I hate.
By the way, Gladius, that hate boner thing, I'm using it.
No! I need it in order to exact my vengeance!
No. Make another one so I can use it.
Oh, the double-decker, of course.
Yeah.
That would be very effective. Here you go.
Thank you.
Now, jam it up, them!
The glue factory. It's a hot time in the glue factory tonight.
It's the glue factory. Jenn is going maniacal. It's the glue factory. Every pony sippable that is hateable by masses will go up in almond glasses, and they will not be clean because it's the glue factory.
Ooh, I like that.
Wow.
Ooh, I like that. That's really cool.
I just unleashed my inner Pinkie Pie to show that was actual Pinkie Pie character, unlike what was shown in this episode. Seriously.
Lower than No Second Francis, that's pretty low.
I really don't like Nick Confalone when he tries to make a jerk out like one of the old main characters, and not even in a likable jerk. Like, that's one positive thing I could say about like Fake It Until You Make It.
Right.
Fluttershy makes for a much more compelling character in that episode.
True.
Even if it seems a bit weird, like she wasn't like feeling like very, very regretful until like she came out of like her last facade, but still makes a lot more sense than extremely petty and not really getting along with a certain person now. Like after one instance, and then just being like, "You're dating my older sister, huh? You and I gonna have problems." Like, that's not what I imagine Pinkie Pie to be acting like.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like you have your issues with my brother. I have my issues with Nick Confalone's Pinkie.
Hey, second.
Hello.
He's back.
Welcome back.
I've been back.
Quick, for your intro.
All right. Hey there, I'm the second opinion, and from a critic first and a fan second. Well, you couldn't get rid of me for long. What can I say?
It was really hard trying to dangle away those hearing aids from him, but he unfortunately caught up to me due to his Pegasi abilities.
All right. Is everyone ready?
Later.
Yep.
We're ready.
Ready.
Just hope this works.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me load up. All right. Is everyone ready to go?
Ready.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Press play in 3, 2, 1, play.
Here we go.
All right, then. Bless you.
This.
Before the fastest, most thrilling ride of all time closes for good.
Wait, the fastest, most thrilling ride of all time?
She hasn't heard about
Hearing a bit of a
Wild Blue
reverb.
Yonder?
Yeah, what's wrong with you, audience? You haven't heard of the Wild Blue Yonder? You don't think that was always a thing?
Only the coolest roller coaster ever. You can't really call yourself a Wonderbolt if you haven't been on it.
Oh boy, that's not a trap.
Hey, Jen.
It is.
Yes.
First, you strap
We're hearing
yourself into
some of your.
wild
If you could lower your volume slightly on your.
okay.
Straight through a series of scary dips and
Oh,
terrifying
we're
turns.
going
Alright,
back
that's
to
better.
school.
Be upside down
Oh.
so many times, you don't know which way is out.
Okay.
Okay, then.
So finally you climb to the highest peak of the rails.
Angel did not volunteer for this.
We're coming up to a screeching halt. It's the coolest ride ever to exist.
He's like, get off. I was like, stop the ride. I want to get off.
So, when did you ride it? Oh, I haven't.
You liar. I can't tolerate no lying in my
Wonderful just
farm.
actually do all of that stuff without being on a roller coaster.
Yeah, that's like the one point I just want to bring up is like, yeah, when you start out with the ability to fly like past the speed of sound, I think a roller coaster would lose its interest.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it feels like it's more out of your hands that way. Out of your wings.
Oh my gosh. Brand new intro.
I'm trying to visualize how they strap in a pony into these seats.
It
That
kind
would
of feels.
be pretty unsafe for a roller coaster.
We've established that they can do the bipedal thing.
Uh,
Gonna miss out on the coolest roller coaster.
okay. Well, this is what happens when you take on the responsibilities.
Why do I feel like you're about to ask me a mighty
Oh,
big
GM
favor?
Barrow writes this.
Over my
Cool.
glasses?
Ah!
Absolutely.
Wait, are we all at the same timestamp?
Hey.
On one condition, you tag along with a few other ponies going to Las Pegasus. Surely you don't mean Granny Smith.
Oh,
No, of course
Granny
not.
Smith.
I mean Granny Smith and the
Ah.
rest of the Gold Horseshoe gals.
Go horse
God,
shoulder.
that pun hurt.
Oh, hey.
Grand Auntie Applesauce, Cousin Apple Rose,
I
and Cousin Goldie
knew Granny
Delicious.
Smith had like a wild streak in
Why,
her.
I'm sure they
Alright,
were
Goldie
thrilled
Delicious
that
is
they had to
back.
join their annual grand
I thought that was
Delicious.
obvious when she tried to jump off.
Perfect. I'll teach your classes, and you can look after them for me. Look after them? So they don't get too carried away. Usually Big Mac goes along as a chaperone, but I'm sure he'd love a break.
No.
There is no
All
way
the
that
cats for
Goldie
transport.
takes a bunch of
Oh no.
old bread. So you don't mind missing
Yeah.
your only chance to ride the wild blue yonder?
I'm giving you an out.
I'll go.
Yeah, because Rainbow Dash didn't know that was the scenario before Applejack said it a second time to her.
It's gonna take a while.
I have timestamp here.
Oh, hey, a non-promotional
2,
balloon.
3, 4, 5.
Like 404, you talk about 409 or 410, something like
I'm
that.
at 406, 407.
Yeah.
You get to go on your
I got
roller coaster.
414.
That could
I
happen.
got 416.
Only if you don't follow the rules.
Okay, I think we're a
Yeah, I
little
think-
spread out here.
I think we're mostly close together, but I think Jen is like
for the lot of you.
3 to 4 seconds behind.
Make sure they get their naps. Eat only soft foods.
I got 430 right now.
Dancing. Don't get too excited.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just passed that.
Like,
And
Couple
don't
seconds.
let them out of your sight. Ever. Wait, then how am I supposed to go on the roller coaster? You'll find time, and you might even learn a thing or two about having a good time from these old gals.
beam.
Yeah, that'll happen.
All right, y'all. Time to
Not
get
like
this
that's the
show
theme of
rolling.
the episode or
Or in the
anything.
sky, in this case.
Yeah. Always respect your elders.
Oh, yeah. Come on, come on.
Yeah.
You had to bring 3 of
It's
her
kinda-
cats.
It's kind of good. Like, this is like a fitting lesson for Rainbow to learn, even though she would never
Jeez,
have that.
so impatient, Rainbow Dash.
I mean, she's all about that speed.
Speed, speed.
Wow.
Didn't Rainbow
Just
drag the
speed.
balloon like Fluttershy did? Back in...
Good.
That's probably what she's
What
going
kind
to
of
do.
yell was that?
Oh my god, I just realized that. Like, there's 2 green elders and there's 2 yellow
I
elders.
climbed a tree. Have I ever told you that story?
Only about 1,000,000 times.
Ah, what did you say?
They said they've heard the tree story.
Oh, you want to hear the tree story? Okay, here we go again.
Of course.
I was a
Even the
young
elders
kid.
don't
I
want
was
to hear
afraid
those
of tree
about
climbing.
stories.
You knock on her, threatening.
Even the cat is like, get me out of here!
That's just the worst thing.
Love how even the other old ladies are on Rainbow Dash's side here.
Now,
Yeah.
he was a champion breeder through.
Oh God!
Okay,
Alucard! Alucard!
What?
Oh my god!
Alucard! He had a horn in the wings!
I don't think he had a.
The wild blue yonder is
Las
in
Vegas.
our home.
I would check, but I don't want to pause it.
I bet you grannies are feeling
I'll check later.
super tired from your journey.
Either animation error or he was like wearing a vest of some sort that had like wing look.
Don't forget the sights. I came here to play some serious horseshoe toss.
Oh, can we see the rainbow fountains at the water show? They're so magical.
My boys are crying for a mud mask at the prison palace.
Oh!
Weird.
You know what would be
Just outline the whole
really-
episode.
Oh
in
my
case-
god! Instant facelift!
Come on, last one to the hotel is a rotten apple.
Gotta remember they have packs.
Oh, let me get that for you.
This is
Just
what
picking up.
I hate when the fly.
No, that face.
Yeah. That's the reason even Big Mac had trouble with it.
Did you guys notice that there's flim and flam on the doors?
And the statue.
Yeah.
They own the place now.
Oh.
There's a horseshoe urn.
By rules of
Names on it.
Viva Las Pegasus.
who called it first?
Don't let them get too excited, or you'll have to go home.
Whoa. That sounds a little too exciting. Why don't we get you checked in first?
Oh, hey, that same bellboy from Manhattan.
Oh my, you are strong.
No.
Well, not afraid to be creepy.
No!
Welcome to our gold horseshoe suite.
Okay,
Only the best
different
of the
voice
best
for that
our
character.
favorite
Welcome to our
which
gold
of course
horseshoe
means
suite.
you, lovely mares.
Why, thank you, a bushel and a peck, you scrumptious morsel of frosted carrot cake.
Get out of my face.
And cringe humor.
the disadvantages of Earth
You
ponies.
know me. Maybe I should ask you to
I don't know
stop
where
into the
that's
magic
been.
show tonight.
Sure your name's not Apple, sir.
No!
Better see what else is out there first. The day is young and
I am not.
Granny Smith's right. Let's not overdo
Oh
it.
boy. I like her spunk though.
How about a nice nap so you can really enjoy
It's so
Las
cute.
Vegas?
Her wings are like.
A good idea. We could use some shine.
But I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Oh,
job.
my God, they're gonna be the little rascals in this, aren't they?
Oh, they are.
If you say so.
What?
Derpy.
What? You'll be in here sleeping the whole
Derpy
time
cat
I'm
now
gone.
exists.
Quit judging me.
Well, that's done with dirt horizontally, though.
I just saw Aloe just coming in through that door.
Roller coaster of all time.
Great, Derpy Cat is now a thing now.
But this line never ends.
Oh no.
Good thing we can just stand here all day without
how I
any
feel when I get up in the
responsibility
morning
waiting
about-
for us.
Oh my God, you know, overtax tourists.
Because then there wouldn't be any more episode.
And hello there, two jerk ponies from that certain episode from season 7.
Wow.
Didn't even know I left.
Cats instead of pillows. Oh wait, it was cats and
You
pillows.
do have to respect like Rainbow Dash for actually giving up on her roller coaster to go check on them.
Oh, that's true.
Mhm,
And the
yeah.
grannies for being so sneaky.
Definitely.
I respect the episode itself a little less for using
Hey,
that shortcut.
DDR!
Ah,
That was a bit of a Pinkie Pie gag there.
The worst chaperone ever.
Don't let them out.
Rainbow Dash photobombs Lyra and Bon Bon.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
See, like the Minneapolis pony.
Excuse me, sir. Have you seen a group of old
Don't let him out of your sight.
Described half the ponies.
Oh my god!
Boy, Vegas is a popular old folks spot, huh?
Anywhere.
That is true.
Goldie.
Can they do it? Can good old Goldie Delicious and the Gold
Oh, no.
break the old timers up record, folks? Now, that's how you hurt a horseshoe.
No way! Goldie's totally got game.
Okay, Rainbow started to
Best
see it.
game of horseshoes this resort has ever seen. Can you believe your eyes, folks?
Yeah! Go, Goldie!
Stand back. He's getting excited.
God.
Okay, can we not wet blanket this episode?
Oh no.
I'm just gonna
Hey,
say,
some
like,
random
no-
pony just stole her horseshoe and threw it. I guess that counts as her turn.
Looks like the show's over, everybody.
Really? It's like,
You
even if
destroyed
you're
the
watching the
game.
episode, you're ruining it, Applejack. Why?
Not too excited?
Pretty much the opposite right now.
Okay, that was funny.
I have to say, like,
I'm not letting you, Granny.
this episode feels very GM Barrow.
In that case,
Yeah.
let's
Or
go to town.
the like plot points are
Well,
good,
starting
but the
to.
plot pacing is horrible.
Or go shopping for Hannah. Have I ever told you about the time I
The
got a
plotting,
new
as it were, is,
bird?
yeah, a little stilted.
What we ought to do? Really? Hit the buffet.
Gotta eat.
Oh, that horseshoe tossing sure works up an appetite.
Oh, look at that face. She's planning something. Granny's
Nachos.
sneaky.
I'ma set my dentures loose
Ooh,
on these
nachos.
fiddles until the crumbs dry, huh?
They can only eat soft.
Okay, you're overusing that.
Not your way from no roller coaster.
You're also overusing
No, you can't have those. They're super
how much rainbow forces this on them.
nice, soft carrot.
No, those are some really good
I thought you
nachos.
were supposed to be the
Oh, hey, Gordon Ramsay pony. Meeting with Craig.
Not with Applejack's voice ringing in her head.
Aww.
Whoa! What is
Hey,
everybody
look at this
wanna do
food
tonight?
that you can't eat.
I was thinking, go to our room and put
Where'd
on
she get
a
the nachos? Did she just get them out the garbage?
Ew.
I'd rather hit
Gross.
the show up my dance
It's the
move.
same thing as Royal Flowers pancakes.
Caramba.
Sounds kind of intense. Aren't you all exhausted from your big day?
Heck no! We save up our energy all year for Las Vegas this weekend. Isn't that right, girls?
Good thing it is then. I'll be there.
And then, of course. Oh.
I'm just doing it just to do it. Thank you, Rainbow.
That's probably enough.
Hey, that's been
Right out the road. Oh, that was just my warm.
The comedic timing is at least better than last week's episode.
It's our favorite
Look at him
magician,
go!
Big Bucks and Jackpot, and our bad looking handsome as ever.
Oh my god.
You little fillies have got some.
Whoa!
Episode likes its cringe humor.
Hey, Granny.
Say, how would you
Break that
gold
one in the
horseshoe
back.
gals like to bring some of that good energy into our magic show tonight?
Here's 5 complimentary VIP tickets to our most amazing trick in the Pony Fantastic Theater. Just over there.
Sugar Cube, we never miss your show.
Fabulous.
Oh my
We'll
gosh.
save a spot for you on stage.
And in our hearts.
Thanks.
Granny, that's actually a good look for you.
That is a good look. Get it,
That's
Granny.
that looks like AIDS Fluttershy hair.
Actually, it looks like damp rarity mane.
Some kind of grandmother Willow look.
So each pony could have some alone time.
But it's like a pretty. It's a really pretty grandmother Willow.
Trust me, you'll love this show. It's the best thing in life.
We already had that last episode. Thank you.
Oh, hey! Thanks for giving me your place in line. They said I'm one of the last ponies ever to ride the Wild Blue Yonder.
I exist in this episode to rub stuff in.
So apparently that's Trixie's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that. That's like the one thing I'd spoiled about this episode because there's so much fan art I've seen. I just always was like, okay, again, I guess we're
wow,
gonna
I
see
see
Trixie.
it. Look, I see it. Yep. If more like if Trixie were a male, but
The original concept for Trixie when Lauren was writing the show.
Hey, where are you going? Come back. Where are you going? Come back.
oh no.
Oh!
Our lovely assistants.
Look at them.
They will make a splash
Oh, cute.
using only the instructions we give them with our minds.
Don't try this at home, folks.
Seriously.
Yes, do not lock yourself in a box and fill it with water.
Oh my god!
Okay.
Or something.
Oh my god!
Feel the wet blankets seep
Yep.
across you.
What you going to do that for? That was our big star moment. You were in danger. I saw the water. You were trapped.
Oh, pish tosh! This is a magic show! We've seen it 1,000 times! Every pony always escapes!
Hey, another scene that had like, wait,
Because of
the
our
pony's that gullible?
Oh my gosh, magicians repeat tricks. What a shocker.
Oh god!
Oh no.
Well,
I bring that joke back for the festivals.
the lovely
Yep.
assistance in that trick. Yes.
You keep ruining our fun! I had a hot hoof going in that game you decided to lose for us!
And I wanted to eat those nachos at the buffet. And I could have torn up the dance floor if you didn't keep stopping me.
He didn't stop
They're
you.
being too polite to say it, so I will. Rainbow Dash, we thought you'd be a hoot, but I ain't never met a wetter hand.
Yeah.
She's right! You've had your mane in a twist ever since we arrived!
Is something the matter, dear? I'm so sorry, every pony. The truth is, all I wanted to do for this whole trip is ride the Wild Blue Yonder. I mean, it's why I came to Las Pegasus in the first place. Applejack told me not to let you out of my sight, or you might overdo it and we'd have to go home early. Applejack put you up to this?
They're all just like,
Applejack is
explained
the
it.
biggest wet blanket.
Well, now it's too late. I ruined your trip, and it's the last day ever to ride the Wild Blue Yonder. The line is so long, I'll never get to go on it. Hey, what's so funny? Is that all you wanted?
Well, fish-flavored kitten kibble! Why didn't you say so sooner? Come on, girls!
Part the Pony Sea.
Horseshoe members, the most exclusive club in Las Vegas.
Well, that's convenient.
And she's with
Ah, the good old fast pass.
Nice.
We've been coming here every moon since we can remember. Even some we don't.
Okay, so I think they now canonize Moon this year's.
like anti-sweets and roller coaster rides. That's right. And I hope you like riding in the front. Yes. This is amazing. Isn't this amazing? Sugar, you probably want to hold on that much.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I misjudged you for being older ponies. You men are actually pretty cool.
Well, technically Applejack did, and it's kind of her job too. She is family.
We think you're a hoot after all. We'd like to invite you to become a permanent member
Oh.
of Horseshoe Gals.
This is going to be an interesting memory down the lane for her when she actually becomes an elder.
Shit. Boy, MLP has its own version of the Golden Girls.
Nice.
Miss it for anything.
Oh, God, get away
You're
from me,
useless. You don't get to wink at the camera.
You don't.
Applejack had.
Why?
Yeah, let me just.
They didn't need that. They didn't need that moment.
Oh.
Yep, you're right. That was an alicorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
That was so blatant. It was like, there was no way you could have avoid seeing that. It's like, you guys didn't even actually check after editing. God.
Yeah, that was just like very blatant and just in your face, like animation error, which I wonder if they're going to edit it out later or something like that.
For like the Blu-ray releases, once they actually do it, once the show ends. But
well, I can say it's still not the worst episode this season so far.
No.
But it was really cute.
Certainly
It was
not.
really cute.
In fact, I gotta say, what kind of a season is this where Nick Confalone and Josh Hamilton are almost totally useless, but Jillian M. Barrow can be described as on her game? She almost never has any game. Like, what?
Yeah, well, I think I feel what I said earlier. I feel holds true. Like her episodes, like that's what I say. I still feel this is probably a middle of the road episode overall. But I feel like I said, like the plot points and actually some of the jokes that like one-off line jokes are just beautifully done, like hilarious. But the plotting, like to get between it, sometimes gets bogged down, and I feel like the recurring, like we must do what Applejack said thing got a little drawn out too much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was really starting to bug me at that. To bug me after don't let them get excited, and then we see that, and then you see the at that point it was okay. I think the episode kind of knew was getting old when you saw the grannies like in the tank, and then the Applejack thing comes out. It's like, do I really need to say anything? And I was like, no.
Yeah, like that's like what I said. They had good, like some perfect like joke lines. That was one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, no, yeah, this episode, like, is not a series grade. It is, like all Jillian Barrow episodes, it's reliant on repetition. It, it hammers in its points. It feels very much like an elementary school chapter book in that regard. But, I mean, the characterization, for her, it's it is pretty fluid. It's very, fun-loving. It's clever in a lot of ways. Like, this might actually be my pick for her best episode. I think the only rival in sight is Fluttershy Leans In, and I gave that a B-, so that gives you some indication, I guess.
Okay.
Where I'm at with this one.
Okay, there was one more cameo this episode had that I didn't catch it upon first viewing, but I was spoiled to upon.
The Rick and Morty one.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah,
where was it at?
It's at 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Like in the when Rainbow meets like that tourist lady that with the baggy eyes, and upon looking at like the long line.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. There's also a Walter pony in there.
Yep.
A what?
Walter from like Breaking Bad.
He has like a blue diamond, like cutie mark, like basically blue crystal meth.
Oh, I see what you did there. Clever.
Actually, I guess something else I was spoiled to was about the Rick and Morty thing, but I thought it was like the other way around. I thought Rick and Morty was actually referenced MLP, not that it was MLP that referenced Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Because like I said, on Equestria Daily, I found like fan art of both Rick and Morty there talking about, and also, like I said, Trixie's dad. So it's like, well, I figured Trixie's dad is probably going to appear in this, and since every single page is like fan art of it. So
yep.
For me, I kind of discovered it in a bad way. Just the internet.
I liked it where it showed like the grannies kind of had a wild side to it. I always had this kind of belief that Granny Smith was a live wire in her youth and still kind of is.
Mhm.
And this proved it right. And I liked it. I definitely, this was very pleasant to see, and I really did like it.
Well,
this episode was definitely at its best when it was the grannies, the old ladies doing like what they wanted to do and just cutting loose with that.
Mhm.
Like, I think it might have been better if it had been Rainbow, like, trying to rein them in, but getting more sucked into it at the same time and, like, catching herself joining in with it.
Yeah, I feel that would have been better, too. Like, the only payoff with him, like, she basically being a wet blanket is at the end where she's like, oh, yeah, it was this Applejack accident. I was like, oh, that'll explain. And they were like, oh, that explains everything. That was, like, the one payoff to that, but I feel it would have been better, like you said, if it would have been like, it's like, oh, I'll just have to like watch over them, and then they're like their crazy antics. Basically, she can't keep up with. I thought that would have been had more payoff potential,
fun and a little more organic instead of the stilted approach they went with.
Yeah, it's like this episode was like, it's definitely like one of the more better highlighted Rainbow Dash episodes, but it's like it came at a big cost, and it's like. Applejack, I think I now see you at the same level as Rainbow Dash and Twilight and my likability for the main six. Oh, God. Why?
Well, I mean, probably blame less Rainbow than the character motivation. I mean, but yeah, what can I say? I don't really think that, Rainbow has a track record of episodes that aren't better than this. In fact, like, for a while, on my card, she almost couldn't miss. But, it's more, wow.
I feel Rainbow's sort of fallen into the trap of they sort of don't know what to do with her now. So they're sort of just playing it safe-ish. So this, like, I guess safe-ish in more of a fillery sense in terms of the episodes they've given her. It's like, oh, yeah, she's a wonderful now, so let's just have her do like random filler episodes that she learns a moral lesson that's not too hard because she's already learned stuff. Thing.
I don't know if they're even playing it safe so much as they just don't have any particular inspiration. They just don't feel that inspired to do anything. Although you will still get a Stranger Than fan fiction, like every so often, something like that becomes the exception. Somebody else decide, oh yeah, I really want to do this with Rainbow Dash.
I mean, but like this sort of episode, I'm completely fine with it, even if it's like very fillery, because it does fit where like Rainbow, like she's the most likely of the main six to have this sort of plot. Like essentially the way she was slowly starting to suck in if it's like it starts to become fun, she misjudged out there slowness at the beginning. It's like, okay, they're actually interested in activities. It's just like he had a lot of stuff packed up before, and that's why I got irritated before.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like the elderly comes with their own package, just slow to start off, but as soon as they get into the place of activity, sometimes they could show off their wisdom essentially in these sorts of games.
Yeah, well, the misjudged you for being elderly thing, I think that the episode, having that be the thing Rainbow says at the end almost comes across you have to be the point more than it actually was.
Yeah, that was the thing I didn't like. It was at the very end, trying to wrap things up by saying I misjudged you girls earlier. Also, the reason why I decided to chaperone you guys in the first place was so I could get on the ride the very last time for this roller coaster. And it's it seemed kind of very selfish that in the end she got what she wanted while everyone else didn't. I just wanted at the end, say in Daring Done, everyone was able to do the activities that they wanted to do during the weekend in comparison to just giving Rainbow what she desired. Just
I actually feel you on that. That would have been more fun if they just everybody gets has just enough time to turn it around and cut loose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, and basically at the very end, like just before like the ride would close down, just be like, this is the very last ride. It's like that's when they show like their golden horseshoe girls like a gift, like at the very tail end. And instead of like having like the bookmark moral, it'd just be like that. And that would be like the perfect send-off for the episode instead of like the whole moral on the blimp. Oh, sorry, balloon. But overall, this episode seems to be like tied with like fake it until you make it. Well, a little bit higher than that in terms of like me actually understanding the moral. I wouldn't consider it like completely good. It has more good elements than bad elements. Like, especially when it comes to like the whole continuity modifier, it's just be like, boom, there's a character that you've seen before. Or let's call out some pop culture references. Just, like, I didn't expect to see like the villain from the main attraction to like come in for like one shot during the dance scene. That was certainly like, hey, look at this one-note antagonist. Look at him being depressed and all by himself. Suffer, man. Suffer for what you did to Rara.
Now he's in Las Pegasus trying to make someone else a hit.
Yeah, but it's not going well for him, it seems.
Yeah, although actually I almost did kind of like that. Like they didn't try to wrap it up like, oh, he has no chance of succeeding because he's just bad and there's no merit to what he says. That like if you like, yeah, because clearly the do whatever you want and like, yeah, marketing be damned, that always gives you everything you want. But like I like that they went a little like, well, I mean, it's hard to say for sure, you know, there's no perfect answer, but we are going to make a case that this way is better.
By the way, Gladius, going back to what one of the things you said about Rainbow Dash feeling sorry for misjudging them, I feel like that wasn't actually genuine at all. I think that was all just because Applejack told her, you know, to watch over them and to make sure that they weren't excited. It was, if that wasn't there, and she wouldn't have done anything at all, really. At least what I feel.
And in that case, well, I mean, like I agree mostly with what you say. It's just like there's like this little part of me that's like Rainbow Dash would have made that like a misjudgment, like only like a bit of a misjudgment still based on like their initial interaction with like how slow everything seemed to be going, like with them getting on like on the balloon and such, heading to like Las Pegasus while listening to the drowning story. And it's like as soon as like they see like Goldie just being like, look at me being super talented on horseshoes. Remember that callback from season 1?
Yeah.
When Applejack and Rainbow Dash were playing horseshoes back in the Apple Farm.
Oh yeah.
Good old times. Like I think that was like a good, like even if unintentional callback to like say this is something both Applejack and Rainbow Dash, even if both of them weren't in, if either of them were like opposite positions, like would be able to like relate back and like have a bit of fun. Though now it's like it kind of shows like the worst side of Applejack being like what the writers put in for like her controlling aspect for familial gatherings and such from like Apple Family Reunion, which that really doesn't jive with me at all. It's just like, okay, like it seems like she still has these sorts of flaws, and even like the after effects as such is still hitting them. But like it's nice to see like they're being like a good sport and like allowing like Rainbow Dash to like join their gatherings and such. Like they didn't need to do that, but especially since like it seems to be like their own thing, and it's like, oh well, you're not like a part of a family. You're more part of like this nice group of fun-loving girls, you know, having fun in Las Pegasus. Like that sort of like acceptance in like in sort of like a friend thing. It's like I never expected the show to do that. But at the same time, it's like there's different types of friend groups.
Yeah.
And you kind of sort of made a nice little friend group for Rainbow Dash now. It's really nice.
I mean, yeah, I'll put out there that, yeah, I think this episode definitely belongs to the 3 older ponies and not Rainbow Dash.
The 3 older ponies?
Were there 4?
4.
Yeah, Goldie Delicious, Granny Smith, and 2 others we don't know.
Oh, Rosebud and Apple Saucy.
But, I thought it was just I thought Apple Saucy was like ribbing her nickname.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
yeah,
Though I can never get that out of my mind now.
Yeah, but I mean, I think like the whatchamacallit, the heart of this episode, for lack of a better word, is them like doing what they do and showing off their fun-loving sides and everything like that. Like even when they're even the ones who saved the day at the end, getting Rainbow Dash on this roller coaster she's going crazy to ride. So yeah, I think like I think that's the best part, and it also is where Jillian Barrow's sort of like chapter book rigid formula writing style starts to work against her, is that she it seems like almost without even thinking about it sort of smothers that in kind of a wet blanket a lot, like like she wants the plot point to be that Rainbow Dash is a wet blanket, but in doing so sort of becomes one herself without even seeming to notice.
Yeah, that's one of the things that kind of irked me, was how it felt really bogged down. I will say one really good thing about this episode, though. One of the things that this show was known for at the very beginning was how it broke stereotypes. And Rainbow Dash was at the head of that whole idea. And with this episode, that you can see that very same concept, with, grandparents being boring, but this episode shows that no, they can be just as fun as regular people. And who better to have than Rainbow Dash as a feature for this episode?
It is a compelling bit. Like, one of my favorite episodes in the whole show is still Family Appreciation Day, which ends with kind of Granny Smith's story, like giving us that reminder that, well, not even a reminder, just like that, out of left field demonstration that, there was once a time where she could have been our protagonist. Like, the hard way to hit us with, everybody has a story to tell. And I mean, that in this episode, for its flaws, kind of furthers that, like, all right, she's not just defined by our sort of, I mean, I guess like sometimes you get that stereotype, like the old person that refuses to acknowledge that they're old. But I mean, even what she and her friends are specifically into, like, they do have things that they really love and they can be really fun about and everything like that. Like, they do all have their own characters.
By the way, where did Jenn go?
Yeah, Jenn just vanished like 5 to 10 minutes ago.
Let me check. She might have. She might have realized she was chopped.
Like, I was waiting for people to like know this, but like no one noticed at all.
I noticed like 10 minutes ago, but I never said anything.
I had like a tab like covering up the. Well, I didn't have where I could see who's actually still in the call. That Jenn was just really quiet, just allow us this discussion to go on.
Yeah.
Well, can anybody message her?
I just messaged her. But anyway, so all right, pushing back. I was going to ask final thoughts, but I might as well see if Jenn can pop back in before I ask for final thoughts.
I see. Well, I mean, like, and I could still, we could still talk about like this episode, like. I
think I'll say like favorable point of comparison if you compare it to the comedic timing of the last episode. Yeah, like even in its stilted moments, you get like there's still a little fluidity, a little awareness there. Like what the Applejack head pops up yet again, but this time it says, "Do I even have to say it? Do I have to say anything?" Or like Rainbow waving it away, or the the Grannies sort of offsetting some of her attempts to be wet blankets, and then compare that to the last episode where like, hey, Fluttershy acted like she knew what she was doing, and they bought it. And like even when, which I think that like it seems like it was a lot of the last one was going for sort of a satire about how ponies feel like that high class shoppers feel like they have to be in the know, but it's like it's sort of Neil DeSitter-esque writing. It's not something anyone would buy, would believe. It's not really a parody of something that anyone would believe. It's just, hey, Fluttershy said something that makes no sense, and they bought it. Like, like with any, I mean, even if you have an idea that's for a joke, that's still just the beginning. There has to be a timing to it, and the last episode, I did not see it, at least, like, barely ever, and this one got stilted, but I do think it has the edge there.
Okay, I'm back.
Jenn, you've been risen up from the dead.
I've been resurrected. My computer was running really, really slow, and then I had to freaking start it, and now I have returned. Sorry about that, folks.
Oh, good.
No, it's no problem.
Wait, let's see. How much like free space do you have on your hard drive?
Good question. How do I find that out?
I just go to like create a Finder. I just go to a Finder window and either go to desktop or downloads. And I'll tell you how many gigabytes you have left.
Okay, that helps. Let's see. Go to where Finder and then
it's either downloads or desktop.
Okay. Let's see. Here we go. I'll just go to Go.
It'll just tell you on the bottom how much space is available.
Yeah, I'll just go to the Go section and it'll tell and look at the downloads. I know that needs to be cleared out. I have stuff from oh my gosh. I have stuff from 2016.
Ooh.
Oh god, that's stuff that's
okay. I think it's time to clean up.
Yeah, it's like that's just one thing I noticed. Sometimes in your Mac will fill up like, especially if like web browsers, like, or if it's downloading an update in the background, it'll fill up your free space without you being to know of it. And
yeah,
when it reaches the maximum, it'll basically, because your web browser also uses like your hard drive, it'll basically freeze it up, and it can't really. It's supposed to pause it, but it often won't unpause without you basically have to restart the whole browser.
Yeah,
it's just, so I'm thinking that might be what happened if you have like less, if you're about 3 gigabytes or less or something like that on there.
Right. Well, I'm just
like within the realm.
I'm going to clean up my downloads thing right now. Perfect.
Speaking of clean up download, like, so wait, what were you saying, Carlos, about like where did you find like about Trixie's dad?
Yeah. It was kind of an inappropriate picture.
Oh no.
Another one of those.
Spoiler pic. It wasn't even in the spoiler chat I was looking at. It was a little chat. I was like, God.
This explicit image on Derpy Brew.
It was like a black and white drawing, and it's like I didn't get the context until someone posted like in the chat. It was like, "Oh, that's her dad," and it's like, "Wait, what? Oh God, why do you have me see this?" Oh, I didn't know. I thought like they were lying, but it's like he's exactly the same colors as Trixie.
That's just
wow. I didn't want to get spoiled, but this would happen. This happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is sort of funny being spoiled by Rule 34.
Oh yes.
Actually, it is sort of impressive with this fandom.
And the fact that it was not even the applesaucy meme. Like, I don't even know if there's like an applesaucy meme out there, but there should be. Like, that should have gotten more traction than like the Trixie dad debate. Like, come on.
Right.
Who knows?
Cringe humor in this episode had some good comedic timing there.
Cringe humor. Okay, like this episode actually feels like a better version of Just for Sidekicks in the sense of like responsibility. Like at the beginning, it's like, okay, Rainbow's like, okay, Derpy Cat, I need you to keep watch. Stop guilt tripping me. And it's like already a much more effective setup to like when she would eventually lose to Grannies. And it's like, well, Rainbow, the fact that you actually immediately came back as soon as you realize like how like long the line is shows that you have a shred of responsibility in your heart.
True.
I have to give credence to your character on that.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with Spike at this moment, especially since, other than maybe leaving the pets with the Cutie Mark Crusaders, which wouldn't even be unreasonable if it weren't the Cutie Mark Crusaders. But yeah, like, I don't know if he did, other than that, I don't know if he did anything like that was endangerment or anything like that. It was just, okay, he's taking advantage of a scenario to, make something happen he wants to happen. It's, and in fact, that didn't do the wet blanket approach, like, oh wait, he has to be pulled away from that again because floating Applejack head.
Don't let them get too excited. You'll have to go home.
I wanted to ghost bust that Applejack out of her consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only good time, like I think we've all agreed, was where she's like, "Do we even have to explain this?"
Yeah.
Although, granted, she kind of would because, okay, a magician making a magician's act happen, like that. What? I don't know, unless you think that he doesn't realize that these are old ladies that he's putting in a tank and filling over their heads with water, then I mean... It was funny, granted, but if you think about it, it's like, wait.
Didn't one of them kind of spoil the trick for everyone?
No,
well, in the sense, but like talking with like the grannies, like making sure like they knew like but due to like our precise instructions, they'll be able to like escape.
Yeah, but I think that's
another one that's like it's funny, but if you think about it, it's like, wait, aren't they just essentially saying that the magicians have done the same trick before? Like, ooh, surprising.
I think that that's the one thing the one said was just like, oh, it's just a magic trick. Like we've seen 100 times. I wasn't worried that they gave away the secret, but they sort of just damaged some of the allure because even though magicians will repeat their trick like hundreds of times for a show, like just saying that sort of takes away the magic, even though it's true. It's
right.
Yeah, and it's kind of like one. It's not only 1 in 3 like magic shows that we actually see in the entire series, and once like it actually goes almost right. It's like This show wants to paint like magic shows like there's usually a huge bad luck sign when it comes to this, no matter the relation to Trixie.
No, actually, speaking of like background characters being seen, I'm surprised you didn't actually see gosh, what are the names? Scam and Scam or Flim and Flam.
Flim and Flam, Flim and Flam, Skim and Scam.
Yeah, because we only seen like their statues and stuff, but we actually never seen them in the episode, which is sort of surprising.
Yeah, it's like a bit of a restraint.
Maybe they're saving them up for something else later, like to make a point of the fact that they own the big whatchamacallit in Las Pegasus.
Yeah, I guess I get the feel like they just didn't want to use like call in the voice actors just for like a side thing or something like that. But yeah, I do like
they contribute.
Yeah, but still, I think it would have been nicer to see them in the background, like doing something.
But still, it feels like there would be a reason that they established that they now have Gladmane's old job.
Yeah.
They got it via the ancient art of dibs.
Sassy Shy. Sassy Shy. All thanks to them, and probably like the best map episode out there.
Which, well, unless maybe you count the original Cutie map. That was good. But otherwise, no, like Las Pegasus itself just seems to be an atmosphere that lends some fun to the episodes.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
It's like, well, it's also like it's just a very animated place, both literally and figuratively in this sense, where like it's a lot of action is happening on screen, like around you, and it creates a good atmosphere for just stuff to happen. And it is a sort of place where like you can sort of do anything when like magical Pegasus Vegas. Even apparently have alicorns doing small jobs. So
yeah.
God.
Alicorn supporting the whole entertainment industry, not realizing the backroom dealings that occur in this once happy palace.
Yeah,
well, Celestia and Celestia and Luna are involved in this somehow. You know it is.
You have to cheat the system in order to keep the patrons essentially keep coming back for more riches when they actually just get a little more than what they get, but they receive huge profits at the end.
Right.
Right. Is Las Pegasus too big even for them to control? Is money where the real power's at?
True.
Something royal mafia.
There you go.
Something 21.
Something brat pack in pony form. Make it happen, artists.
Will you trot beside me? Name my name or
wait. Wrong brat pack. I was thinking okay, that was my bad. I said brat pack, but I meant rat pack. Sorry.
Matt Pat?
Rat pack.
Oh God, if they made a Mad Pat reference, I would have just
Frank Sinatra?
Yeah.
I just would have been like, okay, this episode is already getting huge negative points out of it.
Yeah, or better, like Rat Pack. That's what I was saying, rat. I forgot Brat Pack. I'm sorry. Whoops. But it was Rat Pack. That's what I meant. Oh my gosh. The Granny Smith and the other girls, the real Rat Pack of Equestria.
Boy. Actually, now, okay.
Oh my gosh, they had so much comedic with this. I mean, I could imagine this being like The Hangover Part 2. Lost Pegasus.
Oh my god!
Oh.
This is so much.
Applejack finally gets a huge keg of cider that Granny Smith makes for her decoy plant, since she obviously knows from like the Super Squeedy Cider Speedy 6000, which is another callback to Flim and Flam's first appearance. Oh my god, that would have been amazing! Oh my god!
They wake up one morning.
What was in that cider we took?
No. Rainbow Dash wakes up. He's like, "Where are the Grannies? Where are the Grannies?" And now she's got and what happened last night? Why is there a tiger in my bedroom?
Oh no! Oh, like she has like an extreme buzz cut, like similar to like her alternate self from the Nightmare Moon timeline from the season 5 finale.
Tattoo on her face.
Yeah, I just feel like.
Where's Doug?
Yes, that's it. Where's Doug?
Oh, yeah, they lose the one of the 2 grannies we've never seen before because expendable.
Or Dash loses all of them, and then she has no idea like what happened, and she's got to piece together what happened, and then she finds the Grannies. They're all at the buffet.
No.
I almost prefer leaving most of them on screen just because they're so much fun.
Well, that's true. They're like, "Where'd Dashy go?" Like, I thought she was with you. It's like, she was. Like, she was. Did you see her take down that keg?
All right.
Did you see her essentially like? Did you see her like essentially like carrying us up on that flim flam fountain and having us jump off one by one? It was fun. It was fun, wasn't it?
It was fun.
You know, like basically being a callback to Leap of Faith, essentially. Just being like, we're the final in this party palace. We're the golden horseshoe girls.
Right. But I guess
we've seen Granny Smith's childhood and her adventures, and we've seen her adolescence, I guess, or that side of her. I mean, I don't know. Do you think we're gonna see more of her legacy, her adult years, or something?
I hope so.
Her adult years become like the perfect pair.
Yeah, we've seen the rivalry she was in, but I mean that wasn't really her story in any sense.
Oh yeah, but it's still like showcasing like
an
her
accentuating force in that, essentially.
Yeah, it was. She had a part. She definitely had a part to play in that. I wonder like how old she was. She was in that, but and also now I'm curious, like when did she go to Las Vegas for the first time with the girls?
Oh yeah, I want to hear that story.
It's like those grannies are so much fun. Those grannies are so much fun. I could almost honestly like watch them like nonstop there.
Oh wait a minute! I have an idea. Applesauce was in a troubled relationship with Gladmane, and the girls were needed in order to get her out of it in the most hijinkiest way possible, while him being none the wiser.
Yeah, or he's like the one of the bad guys they have to get around from The Hangover.
That could do that. Yeah, that could work. Could possibly work.
Oh, maybe they pissed off like a royal guard who was taking a vacation and then decided to put on like his guard uniform even though he's not officially on duty. Just being like, stop! I can't let you get away with that incriminating evidence of me doing illegal activities. Or defiling some like royal property by mistake. And was going to keep that picture as a keepsake under the girl's guy, and that's why he's chasing after and then believing oh my god, we broke the law! What are we gonna do? Damn it, girls! We're going on a joyride! And riding the roller coaster's first ride is the Golden Horseshoe Girls, essentially. Woo-hoo!
Careful, don't let them get too excited.
Or else you'll have to go home.
Ooh, I'm a floating
I'm a wet blanket.
Actually, we established that Big Mac's been the chaperone up till now. What do you think it's like when they go on this trip with him?
Oh, he's probably like. I think he'd be like, when is it over?
Yeah, he probably gets the picture by now and just knows to let them do their thing, provided it does not involve potential risk of explosion.
Pretty much. I would think he'd be like, oh my gosh, I've had enough.
But yeah, I guess since Second has to leave soon, we want to all give your closing thoughts on this episode.
I'm off tonight.
Oh yeah, it was tomorrow. Yeah, but still, overall, if we want to give our closing thoughts.
Well, I thought it was a really fun episode. Of course, I love Granny Smith and the Grannies all together. I maintain there could have been so much. There was just enough comedy with these gals. And honestly, you could do more, but only it is a kid's show, only 30 minutes long, but still there's so much with these girls that could be done comedic wise. But it was a very fun episode to watch. I really like it.
If only Twilight's mom was with them.
Oh my god!
I could imagine that to be like, yeah, come. Now, what's Twilight Sparkle's mom's name?
Twilight Velvet.
What is it?
Twilight Velvet.
Twilight Velvet. Okay.
Now you listen here, Twilight Velvet. Let me show you how it's done.
I could see her like, now that's not how you toss a horseshoe.
Second. That reminds me, there was one more cameo that was shown earlier in the episode that was a bit of like a minor background detail when they first got into Las Pegasus.
Mm-hmm.
And that was seeing Twilight's old friends like at the front near the balloon.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Minuet, Lemon Hearts.
Lemon Hearts, Twinkle Shine, Minuet.
Yeah.
And Moondancer or no?
Yeah. Those three were like right there, like at like a Rainbow Archway, to the left of like of Rainbow and the others.
Yeah.
This episode's like a gold mine for all these picking up small details that the background artists were just like, let's do this here and here, and while some of them are like not subtle and could be a bit cringy on their own, it's like most of it's like, wow, this could actually be like something like really interesting for like the fandom to like pick apart. Like, how did they get it up in here? Maybe some fan can tell the truth.
There's some thoughts in some ways going into this episode.
Yeah, and I think I can genuinely say for my final thoughts for this episode, that this was good enough to be a good tier episode in my eyes. Just lots of fun. Generally, like the only thing holding it down was like Applejack's repressed thoughts, like going and hampering like Rainbow Dash, but like the fun showcased by like everyone, the cringe comedy being on point, like something I didn't expect GM Burrow to like possibly excel at ever since we lost like the bit of like cringiness from like Dave Polsky before.
True.
That's something that we can dearly miss, but and even with like the ending, like overall, like I feel like the characters were like strong enough, including Rainbow Dash herself. Like this is possibly one of my favorite episodes involving around her. Just she was all around in those non-Applejack moments, like really, really in character, really, really on point, and just really like the type of girl that like even after like going through multiple morals, like she would still have this sort of problem because it's like, you guys are not being quick enough.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
So for this episode, I was going into this episode thinking that it was going to be kind of boring, sort of bland, but after seeing it, it turned out to be fine. It's just good. Wasn't really great. It doesn't bring up so many thoughts. For me, it doesn't bring up so many thoughts. It doesn't raise any too many issues. It certainly, I don't think it's sort of a memorable episode. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that.
I think it's definitely at its best when it's, like I said before, letting the old ponies just show what they do, do what they love, sort of the fun, liberating feeling of that, just them going to town. I do think it leans into the wet blanket side of things a little too much. Like it almost uses that in a formulaic way, like like pretty much all GM Barrow episodes, I think DC pointed out that she her plotting tends to rely on repetition. It tends to
it feels very
stilted,
one note,
woodenly constructed, kind of like generic formula for a quote unquote kid's story. That when you aren't trying to hit above par, and I mean I think people have mentioned she writes MLP chapter books for elementary school kids, I guess, and that it feels like she is. I guess it kind of feels like she feels like that's what she's been hired to keep doing. That to stay in keeping with that approach. But she clearly can have a lot of fun with these characters when puts her mind to it. She can dig into what's fun about them, and I think that it's done that here. I think that there's a lot of good comedic timing here. I think that there's even some good characterization and a decent wrap up because of it. Like everybody sort of laying it out. Well, Rainbow Dash just coming clean with the others and all of them reconciling it that way. I think it's definitely the best one-part episode we've had this season so far. I liked it better than the other two. I wasn't around for the last one, but that. So I mean, maybe not a thumbs down episode, but I had a tough time getting into that one at all. So just want to give it a B minus, I guess I'd say. If I better organize my thoughts, I might be able to put a nice bow on everything here. But just a episode that could have been a lot more fun. Could have been like make new friends, but keep Discord levels of just like cut loose with the these characters doing what they do best. And if you wanted to go even above that, don't even lean into when the conflict has to hit too much. Just keep that as the thing sort of pushing it to just towards when everybody finally has to come clean with each other. But don't notch your episode down in that wet blanket too much. But even so, the potential it did manage to tap into, I think, made it fun. So that's why I thought it was all right.
Does anyone else have any final points?
Nope.
Nah.
All right. But I sort of gave on before what second serve reader is this felt just like a very GM Bear episode where overall the plot points are good, but it's just the plotting, getting along to those is not smooth, which again comes back from her her children's short novel style writing base. So I still feel that's very present. And necessarily I wouldn't say it stood at it wasn't as much as a sore thumb this time about. Because other GM Bear episodes, you could easily tell this is a GM Bear episode. Here it just felt like he just told me it was a new writer. I was I would have probably believed it. But I could still at the same time still feel the presence of her writing style. But overall, not a bad episode.
What other new guy? Josh Hamilton?
No, Josh Hamilton is writer.
Oh, okay.
I was just saying if you just one of the newer writers that I haven't really seen, if you said that, I would have mistaken for that. But I guess that said, see y'all next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Good one.